Operator.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Big Trouble in Little Podcast. This is episode 317, the fourth and final week of March to the Beat, our music-themed ranking month. This week we're watching the Pianist. This movie was chosen by... Oh, hang on. I'm Andy. Sorry.
Chaz.
I'm Joe Dubs.
I'm Zach.
I got mixed up there. But anyway, this movie was chosen by Joe Dubs. Dubs, why'd you choose The Pianist?
Because Google told me this was a music-driven movie. I wrote, "Hey, what are music like?" I didn't want to do like a musical like La La Land or like Shop of Horrors.
Funny thing is, like La La Land, while it is a musical, is more to do with musicians, at least.
I mean, technically, this is a musician. He does play.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it still suits. It's fine, I guess. It's just, it's a 2.5 hour movie, and he plays piano for like 17 minutes of it or something.
Yeah. You could definitely tell, like, he's missing the music because of fucking World War II is happening. Because there's times where he's like, he hears the neighbors and stuff, and he's like laughing, along with the conversation they're having. He goes like to like a fucking bombed out fucking place, and he sees the piano. So like, obviously he gets to that point at the end, which I think I love how it really ends and stuff, with the orchestra and everything in the show. But the reason I chose this is because of Google, and I'm just being honest with you, because I didn't know what to choose. Because you guys chose all the good ones. Besides Andy, he chose drum. He was going to choose.
I sure didn't.
Yeah.
You could have picked Walk the Line or something, man.
Yeah, I saw that movie 1,000 times. I didn't really want to watch it.
Could have picked Elvis.
True, but I don't know. I wanted to be different, and I guess that's what. And I've never seen the movie.
And you could have picked two different Elvises. You could have picked Kurt Russell Elvis, or you could have picked whatever the new one is.
Well, how was he supposed to know? Google lied. I mean, I get it. The movie's called The Pianist. Beyond how much actual musicianship is in the movie, is it a good movie? Did everyone enjoy it? Was it uplifting?
No.
I felt ways about it.
I felt amazing watching this movie. I felt light in the air.
After Andy and Chaz were talking about it, I was like, how bad could it be? And I know Jews and fucking World War II, but at the same time, I'm like, I've seen so many of those movies. How bad could it be? It was really fucking bad. Like, as far as like the context of what was going on. But the shots, I fucking love the shots in the movie.
Oh, it's a well-made movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It's a Roman Polanski movie. I didn't even know that until after I watched it.
A man with absolutely no controversy.
Yeah. No, this movie is very well shot. Like, some of the images like that is just insane in how it looks. I don't know. I mean, again, within the context of music-based movies, or I guess what we'd expect to be about music, it doesn't necessarily fit what I pictured or envisioned that to be. But as far as it being a good movie, yeah, it's a really good movie. But man, I'd fucking start antidepressants after watching it.
Yeah.
It is so fucking depressing.
To what end? Like, I understand. I mean, it's hard. I feel like I'm dancing around some subjects when it comes to this kind of thing, but it's really, really depressing for a really, really long time. And it's a true story. It's based on a guy's autobiography. So and all this stuff actually happened. But for a while, I feel like the movie's not even given me anything to like look forward to or be excited about, except that I know the war ends in 1945. That's kind of like all you got. And
that's kind of all he had too.
I mean, he didn't even know. He didn't even know when the war was going to end. They were just like, the Russians might be coming. I hope.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah. You just had to hope for the Russians or Americans or the British and the French to come the whole time.
But to that end, like, you know, it's still a movie. Like, I still want to be engaged in it. And for a big part of the movie, it's just like so depressing that the ending, I feel like the ending feels even better than it is, because you're like, oh my God, finally.
It's finally over.
I mean, it feels like the only thing you're waiting for is just for him to die. Like, throughout the whole movie, and again, I didn't know anything about this film, so as of watching it, I'm not gonna lie, and I don't mean this in the way of like, oh, it's boring or what, but I got to a certain point in the movie, and I needed to use the bathroom, so I had to stop. So
Yeah.
And I paused the movie, and I was like, I still have another hour and 20 minutes of this? What the fuck? I was so mad, because I'm just thinking, oh man, well, okay, we're getting somewhere. Maybe they're going to speed through this, and this can get a little bit better. He'd finally like gotten out of he got on the other side of the wall, and they were having him stay somewhere in a flat, and it's like, okay, things are looking up for this guy. I'm going to take a piss break. And I was like, oh, fuck, another hour? Like, this guy's going to get caught and tortured. I'm going to have to watch the whole thing. Fuck. Like, that's what I thought was going to happen. And then, I mean, that doesn't happen, but still, it's just, he's tortured, but in a different way. But then it is kind of,
Yeah, the thing is, to bring up, you saying you go into the bathroom, you literally could have went to the bathroom and nothing would have changed, because that's the one like negative I want to say about this movie is, one, it's a little too long. There's like the scenes that you saw him like hiding from the Nazis. Now I know he's not going to be this amazing like James Bond type of character, shooting at the Nazis and taking them out. But literally, most of the movie is just him looking out of a window and be like, "Oh shit, fucking shit's going down. I better stay quiet." And I think that was just drawn out way too long at times. I get the idea he needs to hide. He's a Jew. There's Nazis on the streets that are killing Jews. Cool. Not cool. I mean, portrays of words.
I'm going to send this clip to your employer. Cool.
Cool. Jews, Nazis killed Jews. Cool. Is that what you said? Yeah.
I'll send this to the ADL.
Yep. Oh damn.
But yeah, like, not a lot of stuff happened, and I also like kind of wanted a happy like kind of ending where he meets one of his family members later who went to the camp, which never happened because obviously they probably died.
Yeah, that's what I assume.
Yeah. So like him seeing or getting back to what he loves is doing the piano. And I had a like leader, pointing at the TV, because this guy in the picture right here is always a Nazi in like some type of movie. I guess he gets typecasted a lot in that.
What else is he in?
I didn't look it up, but I remember his face.
Oh,
yeah. Keep on talking. I'll try to figure that out right now.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy the movie. It's well made, and honestly, Adrien Brody's acting is fan-fucking-tastic. It's really, really good. But there's at least two distinct points in the movie where I feel like there's a more interesting movie happening up the street, and he's like just kind of watching it. Because there's the August Uprising, which is, in and of itself really interesting, and there's the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. That's also interesting. I admit, I knew about the August Uprising ahead of time, but the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, I did have to look up. Like, while I'm watching this movie, I'm also on Wikipedia a couple times. Like, oh, so this date, Poland. I just put the date in Poland and I figured out what's going on, because he's like seeing something interesting or compelling happen nearby, and he's not necessarily part of it, which I get, but also That's what I'm doing. I'm not part of something interesting. I'm trying to watch a movie. I don't want the movie to like tell me, "Hey, did you know this stuff happened?" But you're not going to see it.
Mhm.
Yeah. By the way, he's in Valkyrie, the one with Tom Cruise and stuff, and he's the U-boat Das Boot.
Uh-huh.
He is the boot. He
Yeah.
is the submarine.
Yeah, he is a boot, and my browser's all fucked up. That's great.
Huh.
I can't see you guys.
I mean, the guy's got a pretty good jawline. He probably does make a mean submarine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Now, I think to defend a little bit what you guys are saying, like to take the other side of it, at least what I think the point of that was, it was to show him that, he is these important dates in history. He is having to survive it, and all he's kind of stuck to is being able, like, it's a sense of helplessness from that perspective. Like, all he can do is literally hide there and wait, and literally just hope that someone brings him food, or just live off what little bit he can find, or scavenge, and just kind of watch the world around him kind of fall apart gradually, and there's not much he can really do about it. Which again is part of that whole despair thing. It's like, man, this sucks. It's supposed to push that drive of this is awful. Like, what's going to happen to him? And there's like this sense of dread about it. But also, it does get a little dull, just because again it goes on so long. But I mean, there is some, it's like you said, it almost makes the ending a little bit better at the end, because he managed to survive, and then you do get that relief of, oh, okay, well, there's something somewhat happy, like he managed to survive all of that. Like, I at one point I thought when he was out and walking through that shot is super surreal. By the way, I think you showed it earlier, the one where he's standing and like everything's been bombed, like the hell. When in his coat, yeah. So of course, this part's not. I think he hides one more time in this part.
Yeah,
where,
it's literally when the Russians come in and stuff, and that
Mhm.
German that was helping him out, he's like, here's my coat.
Yeah. So when that part happens, at least, and they start shooting at him. Like, before that even happened, he's going out and he's like crying and like, oh, there's people. As soon as he did, I was like, oh no, he's gonna get shot
Me
by
too. Yeah.
people to help, because he's wearing that jacket. It's like, if this is how this movie ends, I'm gonna be fucking furious. And he almost did, and then thankfully they realized who he was, and it didn't in that way. But man, yeah, again, I get it. It's also playing on the fact that it is based on someone's autobiography, so it's true, and there's something to be said about this person's struggles, and they still found a way to endure. But man, okay, I'm going to say something controversial, but I really mean to put it out there, like, because I wonder, like, how much of this movie, as far as its accolade or success, or is just out of guilt.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before a little bit.
Again, I'm just putting it out. Like, I don't mean it as a take away from it, because I actually think it's a good movie. I like it. It is a tad long, but I get the message they're sending, and I think there's something compelling there. But again, there's things that make it drag a little, but it's kind of supposed to. I think it's supposed to serve as like this endurance test to kind of put you in his shoes, because you start thinking, if you do start thinking, on the empathetic side of things, what this person went through, I mean, is unbearable.
Mm-hmm.
I think, for, like, again, you're sitting there for a few hours watching at a time. This is a person, if you think about what they're going through, they don't know when their next meal's coming. They don't know when they're going to have water. They don't know if they're just going to get bombed half to shit while they're asleep. And they go through that for years.
Yeah.
Like, also knowing that, like, not only did they lost everyone they've ever loved, or no, like, they lost their family, they've had no contact with another person. Like, that's like that could drive someone insane. And also there's this guilt, like the survivor's guilt, because multiple times he's had chances to step in and help, and instead he fled. And whether it was, it looks like he's a coward or not, I'm sure, like, there are moments where he feels that way, right? So there's just so much there. I think that, again, if you think it from that perspective, there is a good story there. But how much of this, if this were about any other time period or any other group, like how much of this would hold up and be as successful? Like, tell the story about someone else that went through a siege in Africa at a different time period, and we're not talking about the Holocaust. All of a sudden, is this movie the 73rd or sorry, the 39th greatest movie on IMDb?
So you're saying you're angry that the Jews control Hollywood?
Yeah, I'm so mad about it. No, but I just wonder how much of that does pad it a little bit. Like, if we can be honest about it a little.
Is this movie really ranked 39th on IMDb?
It is. I looked for a reason.
No.
It had nothing to do with that. I looked because this month we managed to pick 3 movies in the top 75 of all time on IMDb.
That's what I was saying before. You guys all chose bangers, and I was like, no, we can't do this.
And you picked a fucking turd. So
I don't think one of them deserved to be on that list. Sorry.
Yeah, it's The Pianist. No, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll get to talking about where they're at. Hold on. Is it 39? Actually, I may have it mixed up. It might be in the high.
What's number one? Schindler's List?
No, number one's Shawshank Redemption. Schindler's List is number 7. Which we can talk about that another time. Yeah, 30 seconds. Sorry, the Pianist is 30 seconds.
Oh, you're saying all time? I thought you they ranked all the Holocaust movies.
My top 10 Holocaust movies
of all movies, like all movies ever made, that anyone's ever glued their eyes to and watched. Every movie, not Holocaust movies. Like, it is number 32. Whiplash is 39, and Amadeus is 73.
This seems like the archetypical movie that if someone manages to watch the whole thing, they're going to feel proud of themselves and say it's one of their favorite movies. If that makes sense.
No, that does. Yeah. I wondered how much of it is, like, how many movies get made and someone can feel guilt. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, this movie made me cry. Like, there was emotional diarrhea. I enjoyed the movie. Again, for what we were trying to watch, like music based, that didn't really click. But as far as the movie itself, like, this is a really good movie. I think I do think it's a good movie.
No, it is. It is in fact a good movie, like, for sure.
Yes. Oh no, absolutely.
I think the debate we're having is whether or not it's one of the best movies of all time.
Exactly, and I think it's padded a little bit by some of the I would call it controversial context, because again, it's hard to not say that. Like, how dare we look at the person who survived this reality and tell him, oh, your story is not good enough to be one of the best movies ever made. That's not really the point, because that doesn't take away from what he went through. Not at all.
How dare your story be used as Oscar bait? Yeah.
Yeah, but but at the same time, it's just like, how many other movies are kind of. I mean, I'm sure if I look through this list, there are other movies that fall in the same vein. Like, how are they padded through someone feeling guilty? Like, it kind of goes back to in a similar way, like when we watched American Culture, like how white people were like guilted into, like, oh yeah, we should definitely consider this. This is great. This story is amazing, and it was like overly stereotypical, but it was that whole guilt factor that was kind of just there subconsciously, and everyone was like, no, we'll take it. And the two black writers were just not buying it at all, and they're like, this is stupid. Like, so it's kind of that same context, but about the Holocaust.
Or, like, I don't know, I think Detroit's probably a better example of that.
Yeah.
Well, it is, but it's different. Again, a different type of guilt. But yes, like that, it's the same thing. Like, but because again, Detroit's not necessarily held up as this good movie. Like, there's a lot of back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because it's a little easier to be racist than it is to be anti-Semitic. But I mean, in all reality, though, like this movie is great. But I don't know if I would like looking at that list. Like, I don't think it's in my top 100. But that doesn't take away from the gravity of what the Holocaust is. Hell, I was thinking for a while. It's like, man, if there are movies that I can make any person watch right now, just given the climate in the U.S., I think I'd force them to watch this movie, and I'd force them to watch American History X.
RoboCop.
It's like well, But being serious for a moment, it's like I think enough people don't, if they really like had to think and try to put themselves in someone else's shoes to see how other people were being treated in this way, and then to look at me at the end and not genuinely like have a thought of, oh, okay, it would be very bad if we headed this way, then then I'd just be living with robots. But I'm not compelled one way or the other. Then I'm not. But not to get political about it. But I guess my point is that the movie is great, but I don't know if I can look through those types of like not rose tinted glasses, but I can't look at it through the same lens and simply just say, oh, objectively, I really think it's one of the greatest movies ever made, just because of what it's about.
I think I misspoke earlier. I don't think it actually won Best Picture, but it did win Best Leading Actor and Best Directing.
Yeah, it was nominated. It was nominated for Picture of the Year, and I think it
Chicago won.
Ugh.
I mean, I've seen that movie. It's okay. I like it too, I guess, but it beat out Gangs in New York and Lord of the Rings: Two Towers, both movies I personally like better. But
yeah, well, if for what it's worth, Lord of the Rings: Two Towers is rated way higher than this movie in that same list.
the people have spoken.
Yeah, so there you go. I'm pretty sure Gangs in New York is too, actually.
It also got Best Adapted Screenplay, but Best Actor in a Leading Role. The only other, like Daniel Day-Lewis, Gangs in New York is on there. Jack Nicholson in About Schmidt, and Nicolas Cage in Adaptation. Those are all pretty good, but I guess I'd give it to Adrien Brody. That makes sense.
Oh yeah, his portrayal in this movie is great.
Yeah, that dude never ages.
Man, yeah, he played a depressing bum for a long time there. That was rough. Actually, funny enough, Adrien Brody just won his second.
Yeah, for the Brutalist. I was just thinking about that. I was like, we're watching this at an interesting time.
Yeah, because the last time he won was then, and then he also set the record for the longest speech ever, which people were all pissy about. But that's a whole different kettle of fish.
That's what
exactly.
You get for watching an award show, you idiots.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I do agree with you guys. I think it's a good movie, but I don't think it's the best movie. I'm not jerking off, over it, being like, oh my god, the visuals and the visuals are cool. But this is a movie that and me, I'm sometimes emotionless at times when it comes to desensitized to violence and all that stuff. So when I was watching this, I was like, god damn it, fuck. There was a literal lady that was just where are we going? And the fucking Nazi just bang right in the fucking head. And I was like, I understand that happened in history, but seeing that in a string of scenes was fucking, giving me agita a little bit. Now
that's why every 10 and 11-year-old fucking need to watch this movie in school. It shouldn't even be an option. It should just be mandatory. We shouldn't forget about certain things, but also like I said, that's where I was the padding thing's different, but I think this is it is an important movie as far as what's been made, to not forget our history, right? Sorry, go on. I did have something else I was going to ask, but
well, I'm going to say something funny because I have to make it light in some way, and right now I have the scene pulled up right here. When the Nazis go into the apartment and tell the fucking wheelchair guy to fucking stand up. The one thing that came to my mind, and it's happened in recent events, Lex Luger could stand up in a wheelchair, and I said Lex would have stood up, and I just fucking. then I watched him throw the guy. I'm like, fucking shit.
Yeah, they killed him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when actually perfect timing. This is exactly the scene I was going to talk about. So when he is found by the SS soldier, I can't remember what they said his rank was. Was he a general?
I think he's just Wehrmacht.
Okay.
General.
So
officer, at least.
Yeah. So he's definitely some type of higher ranking officer. So he's found by this person. The whole scene plays out, and I mean, it is paralyzing, right? You're like, this is over. He gets found with his little jar of whatever he was about to open up, and it's done. We know he's dead, right? And this person gives no emotion or tone in how they ask him questions. at any point you're waiting for this person to like just do the most horrible thing they possibly can, right? Because that's kind of what the movie's. If you didn't know anything about Nazis and you watch this movie, that's all you had to go on. You'd be like, okay, great. He's about to do something horrible to him and kill him. So instead, he asked him to play the piano. Of course, he plays this like it is like almost haunting, like how great that piece is, and like of course it like touches this man's soul, and then he decides, no, you get to live. I'm going to do what I can to help you and hide. And now the context of it too is like maybe he's already accepted the fact that the war is over, right? Like they know that they're dead. Like maybe this is a person that was in the position they're in and has now given up on the dream of whatever he was doing and realizes how wrong it is, and it's just he's over just being pushed into doing all these horrible things. And he's fatigued from the ugliness of war. Does Adrien Brody's character still live if he could not play the piano like he did? Like there's like that gun to your head, like he blew the guy's mind with what he played, and that was it. But if he hadn't done that, or he sucked at piano, or he just didn't have like anything else, like does the person still find it in their heart to save him?
I don't know. That's a trick question because it could just be like, I'm done. Because you don't know the mindset of the guy. And I like that it's ambiguous about it. Because like either A, like you said, the war is over. Why the fuck do I care anymore? That could be his mindset. Or B, like what we're doing to the Jews is fucked up, but they don't say that. So I can't really answer that. I don't think I can give a good answer, but I guess it's good that he played a fucking beautiful piece.
Yeah.
The impression I got was that maybe it was, what do you do? And he said pianist. And he says there's a piano in the next room. I'll have him play it. But alternatively, if he'd have been like, I was a carpenter or I was a banker or whatever, he would have just been like, get the fuck out of here. He would have just, used the building as they were going to use it or whatever, and just had him get out of there. But I think maybe he saw in this other person, he saw their soul or whatever, and I'll help this guy. There's no reason.
I think earlier when he first goes into that building, he hears a piano being played somewhere. I think that was him. I think he was playing the piano before. And then later on, when he's like wandering around trying to find food, he finds that food. And then the guy, he had his coat and everything already sitting there, and the piano was already like open, like the thing that covers the keys was open.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't dusty, was it?
No. So I think he was just wandering around, and he found it, and he was playing it like the previous evening or something. And then so he might be like a fellow musician or something.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's possible. So what I'd wonder too is, and again, the interpretation is very loose, and that's not a bad thing. I think it actually plays out very well because again, the tension that is built in not knowing, just given how horrible any other Nazi has been portrayed. I mean, rightfully so, but just the way they're portrayed is they seem mildly interested in something, like they're treating them like they're a pet, and they're like, dance for me, sing, do something funny, and then they'll like do something horrible to them, and you're thinking, he's going to do the same thing. So instead, he has him play, and the way I kind of took it was, in those moments where they show him too, I really think that what they were trying to get across is, how could I have let myself get to this point? Kind of the fact that this person is creating something so beautiful, like at least in his perspective, how could we be fighting and trying to or how could we have spent all this time actively trying to murder every person like this? They're no different from myself. To me, I think he had that type of breakthrough, and that's what led him to say, I'm going to do what I can to help him. And of course, like, he gets captured after and they show him. I actually really hate that scene is there. I guess it's a necessity because in the biography, that's how they kind of tie the loose end of knowing. That's how he knows that someone tried to reach back out. But it really sucks that there's this whole thing of he tried to be like, I helped him, he can help me now. And it almost makes it almost like devalues why he would have.
It like cancels
helped him.
out what he did essentially.
Yeah, it almost makes it feel like he's asking for help, like he's expecting it to be there for him now because he helped him, and it's like that wasn't the point. But there had to be some reason to explain how he would have found out that the guy would have been taken off or whatever. So I get it, I guess. And they had limited information on trying to figure out how to know what his name was, right? He never. So there's really no way to know for sure.
And I'm pretty sure the Russians didn't keep good records.
No,
he got captured by the wrong outfit. That's for sure.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But yeah, that was my take on it, though. Not that I think that he necessarily would have done anything differently. I think you probably would have done what you'd said before, just like, oh, okay, get it. I'm gonna turn away and just pretend I didn't see you and move on.
But he also cared, right? He brought food. Like he could have just like let him live and just be like, I let him go and that's it. But he kept on bringing food. He gave him a jacket, so I guess he cared in some type of level, right?
I mean, I made myself laugh a little bit at that scene because he goes into the attic. He says, "Hey, Jew." And I was like, what is this, a D&D game? Like, he's just calling him by... he doesn't know his name, I get it. But
hey, half-elf.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, rogue, pick this lock.
Yeah, but no, like, the fact that he gave him what he gave him, and, like, he ate that jam, and he, like, you could see...
Because that jam looked so good, I wanted it.
I know, it looked good. He tasted it, and he's like, holy shit, like... It's like I died and gone to heaven. Like I didn't think I'd ever taste anything so good again. But yeah, he didn't have to do any of that. Like yeah, he went so far beyond like what the expectation I guess was. And we only get that it looks like he did it for a moment, but according to how it played out, at least when they were given the little timelines, like he kept him alive there for weeks. So I guess at least looking it up, like the guy was like basically hiding there in that station for weeks while they took care of him until they retreated out completely. So, I mean, that had to take some effort to keep that from others. I mean, he actively sheltered the enemy of his outfit. So, yeah, it's just interesting. It even shows kind of like within all that darkness that there's still a little bit of hope. But
well, yeah, I mean, besides like the Nazis and stuff, just war in general. I hate how people just lump like the enemy and be like, they're all just fucking evil people. Most of them are just following orders, just like, some of the Nazis, and some of them are not.
Nuremberg defense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, besides the SS people, I'm just like being like, there is some good people there that have their stories, but like I said, I love the ambiguity. I can't even fucking say it. Ambiguous. Yeah, there you go. My fucking mouth. I can't even talk. Because we don't know. Because he could have been selfish. He could have been like, all right, I know the Russians are coming in. Let me house this Jew for a couple of weeks, and maybe he'll pay me back when he's on the other side and I'm caught by the enemy. And that's why, like, when I saw the scene where he was like, hey, where is that guy that I helped? Maybe he can get me out.
See, that's why I like that even less, though, because he knows that he's a piano player. He tells him about the whole thing with he played for Poland's radio station. Mm-hmm. But yeah, to have the logic or even set the notion that he would only help him with the hope that he would help him later just seems so ridiculous, because it's like, look at this poor man and what he's going through. He looks like he's barely going to survive the night as is anyway. So I want to be able to accept that he only helped them because he decided right then it was the right thing to do. He finally said, enough of the following orders. I mean, I'm going to do what I need to survive, which, a fair number of people, I'm sure, were in that same space or mindset of, I have to do this just to keep going. But at some point you have to draw a line and decide, no, I'm going to still do what is right because I'm a person and they are too. So I again, for me to feel like this has a somewhat happy ending, I feel like it has to be that, even though he's still punished for all the horrible things he did do or let happen. Like, just again, like Andy had already touched on just titling it from Nuremberg defense. Like that doesn't hold up in the same way if you just stand by. You're so complicit in the same thing. I mean, so at some point you do have to be able to stand up and say, no, following orders is not just following orders if I'm throwing my soul away, right?
I wish a lot of
that was the
soldiers.
important takeaway from the Nuremberg trials. Yes.
Yeah, I wish a lot of soldiers, even in modern times, do that, but they don't. They just follow orders and they go, all right, I'm going to drone strike this area. So, like, that's why I say, like, there's good people, but, like, you know, I had discussions about, like, certain political situations where I'm like, there's things that you can do to not let things happen, but then people go, well, how am I going to feed my family and all that stuff?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why you picking this movie is actually interesting just because of what our political climate looks like now. And again, it's not that, you know, we're, whether people want to accept it or not, believe it or not, like we have a lot of parallels to early Germany prior to full-on Nazi takeover. We do. And again, the biggest difference is that we actually have more going against us, just in the fact that social media is just this horrible catalyst for information, and that makes it even harder to try to get the right points out there. So it sucks. So seeing this, it's like, man, I'm really hoping we're not relying on the same situation for a few good people to finally say, oh, well, I was just following orders, but now I guess I'll do the right thing. It's like too late. But it's all the more reason why this movie is so poignant, though. Like there legitimately are kids out there right now, like, because we don't realize it because we don't think we're as old as we are. But there legitimately are kids that don't know, have no idea what the Holocaust is. They're not being taught what the Holocaust was. So again, it's kind of mind blowing or crazy to think that. But I mean, I have met teenagers. I have taken care of kids, like in some, you know, it's come up in some way or another. They don't know what happened in World War II. They have not been taught World War II. Like, that's wild.
Oh, there's people our age who can't differentiate between World War II and like Vietnam. They have no idea.
Oh yeah, no, you're totally right. I mean, yeah, the average reading grade level in the U.S. of a U.S. voter is like 6th grade. Like it's even lower than it used to be. It was sad, but
newspapers are written at a 3rd grade reading level so that everyone can get information from them. Yeah,
I know a kid that thinks Obama freed slavery. Think about that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just wild just to think that that's the case. So that's why I think this movie is so important. But yeah. Anyway, I know I've went on a soapbox here. You guys can cut me off on it. We can move on to other things.
Yeah, trust me, this is important to like all the other movies that we all watched in school to be like, this is a terrible thing. You should know.
Yeah, I should have been watching this, not fucking Drumline.
Yeah.
You know, what kind of asshole? You must be a Nazi for making us watch Drumline. It must be it, right?
No, but see, here's the interesting thing. I do like this movie a lot. It's very good, and I do recommend it. However, I don't foresee myself watching it again. And that's not to say this is a bad movie. It's just, you know, it's just too much. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I almost watched Akira right after. I was like, do I really just want to commit suicide tonight? Do I need a 13th reason? But I didn't. I waited. So maybe another night. I'm feeling real sad, boy.
Yeah, I'm in line with Andy. Like, it's a good movie. I recommend it. But maybe I'll like watch it once and done. And maybe if I ever have kids, be like, this is what tyranny looks like, and we should not get to this level.
If someone was watching it for the first time and I was there, I'd sit there and watch it with them and everything. But yeah, I'm not gonna like seek it out, or I'm not gonna see it again.
Yeah, it's not gonna be like on Showtime. It'd be like, oh, The Pianist, fuck yeah, let me go.
Oh hell yeah, crank it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's well, in that kind of vein, it fits similarly to like Schindler's List or something. Like, they're just movies that are about topics that just are quite a gut punch. It's like, I don't need to watch it again, right? Like, you watch it once, and that's enough for you to say, okay, I've experienced this. But I've
actually been meaning to rewatch Schindler's List in the last year or so, but I still haven't get around to it.
Yeah, same. It was a bad example. It's something I watched such a long time ago, but I definitely didn't appreciate it when I was younger. So
yeah, it's kind of the same. Yeah.
Yep. But,
Zach, you gonna watch this movie again? Are you gonna watch it every week?
Probably not. it was pretty good. I think it was a little too long. You probably could have stood to lose 15 or 20 minutes. But yeah.
Yep, I would agree. I was going to ask, did anyone look up the music from the person this is about? To listen to it at all?
No.
I did want to say this movie has one of my absolute favorite credit sequences that I've ever seen, though. It just shows him playing the piano for the extent of the credits roll. That's really good. I like that a lot.
And then at the end, they all clap, and that's the end of the credits. So, yeah, I dig that, too.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. All right. Well, you know what time it is since we watched all the movies, right?
It's break time.
We're going to rank them. How do I, you know what, I'll go first. Who cares? Drumline, it's last place. It has no points. Fuck that movie. The Pianist, I went ahead and put it third. I gave it 3 points. Whiplash, I put it second. I gave it 3 points. And Amadeus is a movie I love. I put it at number 1 with 9 points. I know that seems egregious, but there's so many points, and I was trying to work it out to be like, look, I like these other movies and everything. But no, Amadeus is my favorite. Which, from what I understand, the internet disagrees with me. But whatever, fuck them.
I have similar points as you, but the movies are switched in the 1 or 2 spot. So number 4, Drumline, fuck that movie, 0 points. The Pianist at number 3, good movie, but the depressing and the long scenes. I get Chaz's point. We need to show that and to remind people of history and all that stuff. But to watch it on a Tuesday, while I'm having fucking like burgers and stuff, like I was like, oh man, this is a terrible idea. But I put that at number 3 with 3 points. Whiplash. Oh wait, no. Amadeus at 3 points. I need to go watch the full version, Andy, that you watched to have that context.
I'm confused about that because it seemed like you like that movie more than what your score reflects.
What are you talking about?
You gave it 3 points. When we were talking about Amadeus previously,
I think like maybe it's just he likes Whiplash so much it's kind of offsetting.
Yeah, sure. I love Whiplash. Like if I had to choose between Amadeus and Whiplash 9 out of the 10 times I'm watching over Amadeus. Because I'm not a stan for fucking classical music. That's just me. So
see, it's funny too because I actually was gonna rate Whiplash higher. But then I thought about the whole recommendable, like which one I would watch more, and I think I would watch Amadeus more than I watch Whiplash. Only because Whiplash actually makes my blood pressure go up. I have to accept that movie is in limited doses. It's great, but that movie is tense.
You said like you like Amadeus less because you're not a classical music stan, and I understand that as a ranking. But like the music in Whiplash, I prefer over Amadeus every time, and I like them both for their music. But like I was in a jazz band at some point playing drums. Like Whiplash was my jam as far as music went, but as far as story goes, Amadeus for me.
I think it's a better movie.
Yeah, but Whiplash is 9 points for me for number 1. So
9.
Okay, right. I'll go next. Yeah, my ranking's actually the same as Dub's, but slightly different. But so I have Drumline 4th, 0 points. I have the Pianist 3rd, 4 points. I have Amadeus 2nd, 5 points, and I have Whiplash at first at 6 points. And my point distribution is a little tighter, mostly because I don't think I could justify putting Whiplash a whole lot higher. I actually really enjoyed the Pianist a lot. It caught me off guard. Like I didn't know what I was watching, so that's a movie I wish I would have had a little more prep. I probably would not have watched it in the mindset I was in when I watched it. Because
I had this like idea in my head about what it was going to be about, and it was not about that thing.
Nope. And I had come off like rough shifts, just working, and just again, it's one of those things. I think I needed to be in a different mindset. I probably would have taken it in even a little more, but I still enjoyed it a lot. So I'm giving it a little benefit of the doubt there. But I would also concede the fact that Amadeus overall is a better like story, like as far as just the actual story of this person that plotted as a rival to do all these things to, as you're also seeing Mozart's life play out, you're actually seeing how someone behind the scenes manipulated it. Like, it's a really cool story, and the way they actually drive the plot narrative, like the device they used at the beginning, where that's the way they're telling the story is he's confessing the whole thing. I think is great, and if it wasn't for just my own personal intrigue, I think I would rate it higher. And I guess I should say too, all three of these movies are very close together. It's why the points are the way they are. But like, they're all three great movies. I like Whiplash a little more just because there's so much intrigue into me about what's the limit on being pushed too far to make something, that you otherwise can't create. Like, is it worth all the gasoline and the fire, like setting the whole building on fire, if you're able to make that spark? And I think I think that's just very intriguing, and I enjoy the movie a lot for what it is, not just the music itself, but just the story that's told in it as well. So I don't know. I guess for me, that's why I ranked it a little higher, even though I would probably watch and recommend Amadeus more generally than I would the other. So,
Zach, rank them.
Drumline has 15 points. The rest of them at 0. Drumline's got 0. It's last. Pianist got 3 points. Whiplash has 4 points at 2, and I gave Amadeus 8 points. I just think that's a out of all these movies, it was the best movie. The story was more interesting to me too. So.
Our rankings were almost the same then.
Yeah.
Is that the final? Did Amadeus topple Whiplash? It looks like.
Yes, it did. I did the points earlier, and yeah, I don't remember the exact numbers of how much more it's above, but it's by a decent margin.
All right. Well, I mean, if you're paying attention, you shouldn't need it told to you, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Drumline number 4, 0 points overall. Not even a single point for Drumline. Pianist at number 3. Whiplash is number 2, and the official Big Trouble in Little Podcast March the Beat month winner, top ranked movie, Amadeus.
The champion.
I real quick, an addendum to talking about Amadeus. I read something about Amadeus today, and that is that Tom Halsey, whatever, the guy who plays Mozart, actually learned how to play the piano for the part. He studied the piano 6 hours a day for 3 months or something like that. And in that scene where they're at the party and they turn him upside down and he's playing the music backwards, that's really him. That's really the actor doing it.
Holy shit.
I was figuring it was a body double or a hand double. No, he really can play the piano. He really can play all of Mozart's stuff.
It's awesome.
That's cool.
Playing Mozart backwards.
Oh, God, that laugh.
Man, we ranked them. We're doing something
haunting.
Completely different next month. Next month, we're going to do, we're not even doing movies. We're doing shows. And the only one who had anything picked was me. So we might be doing stuff out of order, but I don't know what everyone else is to pick yet. We're doing Star Trek shows. And just like last year, I want to spotlight Deep Space Nine because I fucking love Deep Space Nine. It's basically the Wild West in space and it kicks ass. We're going to watch The Rules of Acquisition, The Wire, and Take Me Out to the Holosuite. Rules of Acquisition is in season 1 or 2. Wire is also pretty early. Take Me Out to the Holosuite's later on, but it's kind of like a bottle episode in that it doesn't really have a lot to do with the war with the Dominion. It's just
I got you.
That happens on the space
I got the
station.
Google Doc right here. So Rules of Acquisition is season 2, episode 7. The Wire is season 2, episode 22, and Take Me Out to the Holosuite is season 7, episode 4. I keep on forgetting Deep Space Nine went deep. Almost as much as Next Generation.
Yep. It's a good ass show. You guys are going to like these.
Cool. I still don't have an ad yet. So we're going straight into host credits scene on what we're playing, watching, and doing. Andy, I think we should have Zach go first.
Okay, yeah. He always goes last. It's time for him.
Yep.
All right, well, watch more Twin Peaks Return. I'm almost done with it now. There's 2 episodes left. Still really nice watching it second time through. I watched some more wrestling bios videos, more WCW blunder videos. Those are still really enjoyable. I didn't know that they had this weird crossover with like this knockoff American Gladiator show where it looked like they were feuding with each other. That was terrible. Oh my God. And then there was like a cage match that was just designed for Scott Steiner, and it was like a little tiny cage that fit in the ring. I didn't know about that either. It sucked though. No, you couldn't really have a good match in it because it limited your movement. It's like half the size of the ring if it was contained in a little circular cage. But yeah, those are silly. And that's around the time I quit watching that shit anyway. Watched Final Destination 3. It's stupid too. They're all stupid. It's just that like I think 3 embraced more of like how stupid it is more than 2 did. Because there's something about 2 where it was just like we have to explain the mechanics of this death ghost shit. And we have to like it's like they really went out of their way to try to like figure out how it works or something. And it just made it dumb. I think it's just people want to see people die in these ridiculous ways. That's all it is. And they kind of went back to that. The only other thing I'd say is it was filmed weird. It reminded me of watching Phantasmagoria 2 sometimes, like the cutscenes of that, the way it was filmed in like 2006. It was just strange.
That's bad.
It's not good. Not a good movie, but it's fun if you enjoy it.
I heard that, Curtis.
Yeah, I heard that, Curtis. And then I watched The French Connection. I was like, you know what?
Hell yeah.
After Gene Hackman died, I was like, I haven't really watched that many movies that have Gene Hackman in it where he's like the main guy. Or at least one of them. So I was trying to go out of my way to watch some more of his movies. And I start with that one. It was really good. I didn't know William Friedkin did it of Exorcist fame. I didn't know he did that movie.
That was one of his big breakouts.
Yeah, I can see why now. That movie has a kick-ass chase scene in it.
One of the most famous.
Yeah, and the ending is like crazy. Just how it all goes down. But the only thing that sucks about the version I watched it on Amazon Prime. It's only available on like 2 different streaming services right now. It's like Apple TV and Amazon. It's getting ready to leave Amazon soon, I think. There was supposed to be subtitles for when all the French people were talking to each other, and they weren't on that version of the movie that I watched. Even if I turned subtitles on, it would just say speaking in French. And I'm like, fucking thanks, guys. Like, I didn't know that.
Weird.
Fucking morons.
I hate when movies do that.
I don't
tell you they're speaking another language. Like, I'm aware. That's why the subtitles are on.
Subtitles will literally have a dog on screen barking, and it'll say barking in brackets. It's like, yeah, even if I was deaf, I feel like I'd be able to tell.
I think a lot of these are like fucking AI generated now. But like, I don't know why they put movies on streaming services and they gut the subtitles out that were originally in the movie. Like, I don't understand that.
It probably has something to do with it's like an encoding thing, and it would require a bunch of work that they aren't willing to do to get it back or something.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That reminds me, speaking of subtitle problems, this goes back months. I'm sorry to interrupt your thing, but I just wanted to report to you guys. I never gave up the search to find The Foul King, the wrestling movie I had chosen. Yeah. And I finally found it on like a torrent thing for it. And I had my stupid program on for a long time, and I finally downloaded the whole thing, and it has no subtitles. So I have the movie now, but I got to learn Korean to watch it again.
Terrible.
Easy. Just
I got so close.
Send it to Criterion and tell them to take care of it for you on the download. Like,
they need to. I think I tweeted at them about it or something. I was like, you guys needed, because it was on the Criterion channel at some point with subtitles. So it exists. They have it. Put it on a disc, you idiots.
Yeah. So like to end that French Connection deal, I told one of our other mutual friends, is like, if I watch this movie, that's how I like it well enough, I'll buy it to fix this issue later. Because to me, this is just like the trial runs. I can't understand like 4 or 5 scenes in the movie that seem pretty important, but whatever. Almost forgot until you mentioned it. I watched Queen of the Ring too, a movie that just came out in theaters. I went by myself, and I was the only one in the movie theater that was there.
Oh, I love when that happens.
Little side note: Did you hear what one of the actresses said at a fucking AEW event?
I saw that. I think she just misspoke. She didn't really mean what everybody's trying to say, making fun of her and shit. Which was something like, the thing about all you got wrestler guys is you all know you're going to win before you do. And it's like, no, everybody was trying to make fun of her. I'm like, that's not what she was trying to say. I get what she was trying to say.
Yeah.
But, no.
Don't you hate it? It's fucking wrestling marks.
I know, it's dumb as hell. But, like,
Jim Cornette's fucking going like, you're exposing the business.
He's got some kind of comments ready. I haven't seen him yet because they haven't come into my podcast app. But like, anyways, it was a good movie though. I really enjoyed it, and it was cool seeing like all the wrestlers that were in it that I could recognize, which was pretty much all of them. It was just some of them I wasn't even aware they were in the movie. Like they weren't talked about or mentioned at all. And then like, Jim Cornette makes an appearance in the movie as like NWA commissioner guy. It's funny. They don't name him, but everybody says he's like Sam Medica or whatever. I think it's just people trying to like give the guy a name. It's just supposed to be like a composite of like a guy. That's all it is, really. The director had a brief part in it as kind of a bigger name in the business as like an executive, and it was like I was like, what? Like when that happened, I was like, oh, that's a good little cameo there. Okay, but it was interesting though because it's like about Mildred Burke, and like she was probably like the biggest woman wrestler back then at that time. And back then, like we're talking like 40s, 50s, late 30s, like women's wrestling was illegal in almost the entire country.
Illegal?
It was illegal, yes. Like there was only a couple states that allowed it.
Weird.
So it's this whole deal where, like, as she's getting more popular and like there's like a guy who's promoting women's wrestling like through the country. They're getting like the bans upturned in different states. Like I think New Jersey is one of the first that does it, and then it's like Pennsylvania, and then California eventually caves, and then it's New York.
So when was this movie supposed to have been?
It takes place late 30s to like 1954.
Oh, that sounds cool. That makes me want to see it more.
Yeah, it's more of a period piece, really. Luckily, they filmed it all in Louisville, and that's because like a lot of Louisville still looks like it was built in the fucking 40s. So you know,
looks like shit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's depressing. They should rebuild.
She should. No, I'm down with leaving old buildings. I think a lot of new buildings suck. They look like bullshit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as they've actually done what they need to update them, like the structural integrity is fine. The building looks cool. Just fix the inside. No shortcuts.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and like I think one of the coolest characters in it was like Francesca Eastwood. I guess Clint Eastwood's daughter got to play Mae Young in that movie, and I didn't know it was her playing her. And I was like, well, that's a fun character to play because she's just like this tough as nails broad who would like smoke cigars and drink fucking straight whiskey and then like out gamble the fucking guys usually. So I bet that was fun to do. But yeah, it was good though. I played some games, just a little though. Still playing WrestleMania 2000. Still figuring out like, wow, there's not a whole lot that goes on in that game's like season mode. It's just you get in a match. And it feels like a random match generator more than anything. Puts me in a lot of tag matches. I don't know why. I figured because like I'm the Undertaker, I should get in a lot of single matches. No, apparently not. But I chose the right tag partner. I chose Kane, so you know it makes it easier.
You and the Brothers of Destruction.
Exactly. That's what I was going for there. Play a little bit. I got back into Fire Emblem Engage. There's not really much to say about that. I'm just playing it again after I took a little break. Then I played Balatro today. I actually bought it a couple weeks ago.
Ooh, interesting.
I didn't play it yet, though. I started playing it today. I played it for like a few hours, and I'm like, yeah, that game's legit. It's like, it's kind of addictive. It's weird.
Uh-oh. It's
like you're playing poker. There's no microtransactions or anything in this game. It's not one of those games. You pay for it once, and that's it. It's no more bullshit. But it's like you're playing poker, but it's everybody says roguelike and shit just because there's like random I kind of don't like it.
That's all they know how to say. Roguelike and Dark Souls like, and that's all. That's how you describe games now.
It's just it's you're building a deck kind of with a poker deck, but there's also these other things. There's like jokers you get that have different effects on how your card game plays. Like it's stuff like pairs are worth twice as much now or something, or like you generate more money when you don't draw as many hands, when you discard shit and get more cards. And it's really cool though. It's cheap. It's like $10. It is $10 on my phone anyway. I don't know how much consoles want to charge for it, but
10 or 15, I assume.
Yeah, I like it though. It's pretty fun. It's a good time waster game.
You got it on the phone?
Yeah, I got it on my phone because I was able to get it on sale. And I thought, like, for the kind of game it was, from what I heard, it's like, this might be like good to have on the phone instead.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah. You go on like these runs. Though. I think what you're supposed to do is you keep beating like I forgot the poker term. Hell. Whatever. You just beat you beat like 3 stages, and the last one's like the boss stage, and they're really hard. It's like the blind. That's what it is. It's a big blind.
Oh, okay.
And that makes sense. I know poker terms.
Yeah, I forgot because I've only played one time.
Fair enough.
You beat the blinds. There's 3 blinds. There's a small, medium, and then like the boss blind. And the boss blind, you have to like get the most money, and you have to make the biggest hands and all this shit. And they have like special rules, like hearts don't count for any points anymore or something. Stuff like that.
Well, I really like to play poker, so maybe I would like it.
Just check it out. Yeah, it's cool. I actually like it quite a bit. So I'm even more disappointed when people say, I have no interest in this.
Is there like is there like a story mode? Can you beat it, or is it just like forever?
You can beat it, I think. It's just that it's you go on a really long run. I think it gets increasingly more difficult. The idea.
I think there's an endless mode. I think
there is an endless mode though. Yeah, but like I think what it is like you keep trying to beat it more or less, and I think it's going to take a long time.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's everything I did though.
Dubs, you go next. We're going to reverse order.
Okay.
We should have saved this for Mirror Week.
I played more Tetris on the SNES because it's quick and easy. And
you need to be playing Tetris on the CDI.
Maybe.
CDI emulator. Do it.
I'm going to play all the Tetris games and then rank them. That would actually be a pretty good thing. Has anybody ever done that? Probably
somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more versions of Tetris than you realize. You're gonna start going down that road. You're gonna be like, oh my god, what have I got myself into?
I like the way in that one game where the blocks fit and then a row goes away, and it makes me feel good about myself.
Yeah,
I like them games where the blocks come down and anime titties come out. It's crazy. I don't know what that game is, but
Anti-Tetris.
So I didn't do much. I actually went down a rabbit hole because it's kind of weird. It was Sunday, and I was watching stuff about the first Death Stranding, where I was just like, I want to like get back into this game. I got the director's cut because I know they added some levels and some features to it that I want to try out. And then all of a sudden, I see on YouTube that PlayStation has a South by Southwest panel with Hideo Kojima, and automatically my mind's like, oh, it's just gonna be Hideo Kojima showing off like pictures of the characters in the game and how he's gonna jerk off. Like
he's been teasing on Instagram for months that he was editing like a big ass trailer, so everyone expected he was gonna show off something pretty cool.
Yeah, so I was like, maybe he's just gonna show like characters and maybe show like a trailer with like no release date. Because remember, like with the first Death Stranding, it was like so cryptic because we didn't know the world.
Yeah, I missed those days.
Yeah, like this one, they were just, he's like, here's the trailer, and boom, it's fucking 10 minutes. And I'm just like, holy shit! Like, there's a lot of people are going to be like, oh, another walking simulator. But based off of this trailer, I was like, there's walking, but there also looks like there's more like action-y stuff to do because there's more factions. Government is being formed. And, when governments form, bad news happens sometimes.
And not Solid Snake is in it.
Yeah. And
Stranded Snake. I saw people were calling him.
Yeah.
Stranded Snake is pretty good.
Apparently Hideo Kojima, the actor who's playing Stranded Snake, that's not the guy's name, by the way. I forgot. His name is Neil in Death Stranding 2. But
David.
apparently he was like, if there was a live action movie, he would be a great Snake, a Solid Snake. So now he's in his fucking game as Stranded Snake or whatever. So I was like, that's cool, I guess. But
So you played Death Stranding? Is that where this is going?
I have it downloaded on my PlayStation Portal.
Downloading is not playing.
I know, but I did. The only thing I played was Tetris.
Ooh.
'Cause, and I'm trying to think what else I did. No,
The Death Stranding thing, you shared that link, and I clicked into it, and I saw like 3 seconds of it, and then I made a split-second decision and closed to the window real quick. I muted all the subreddits I follow that have Metal Gear stuff in it, Metal Gear, or not just Metal Gear, Death Stranding, and Never Be Game Over, because that subreddit's fucking hysterical. I muted all those, and like, I'm not going to watch any more trailers. That's it. I'm fucking done with Death Stranding 2. I'm going to get it. I'm just going to buy it and be surprised.
yeah, I mean, even if you did watch the trailer, like
It's 10
nothing
minutes
is
long. It has to reveal something. I'm going to be surprised about something.
nothing has been like said. They just like do a montage of things like,
I just saw a big giant goo monster giants.
oh, the Magellan or whatever they call them, that fucking thing.
I guess that's what I saw for 3 seconds, and then I was like, no, I'm already going to buy the game, and I know the kind of game it is, so I'm just going to let myself buy it and be happy. I can't believe how soon it's coming out, though. Like, that's way sooner than I thought.
Yeah, that's what really surprised me, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" During my birthday, I was like, "This is great." It's because I took a week off for my birthday, and I'm like, there could be 2 things could happen. Now I know Nintendo is not going to release the console in June, but it's probably going to be during summertime. I think it's going to be like June, July, or August, or September in that range.
Well, no one will be able to buy one, so it's not going to matter.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm super excited. Like, I actually haven't been this excited for a game in a while. And I know when we did our Death Stranding episode, like I was kind of low on it. And I started thinking in my head, why was I low on it? And I think because I had the expectations, because I love Metal Gear Solid, that I was thinking I was going to get more Metal Gear Solid, and I didn't.
There's something about that game too. Like, as time has gone on, I look back on it more fondly all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I should revisit it. I should get, like, the director's cut is actually pretty cheap now, but I don't know how I'd work it in before 2 came out anyway. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, man, that was really my kind of game. I really like that game.
Oh, don't you have it on PS4?
Yeah.
It just upgraded with the $10 and you get the director's cut.
Oh, I like owning stuff physically. I saw it on sale recently for like $17. And I was like, I should buy that. And I didn't.
You can work it in if you started right now.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not playing anything at the moment, but we'll get to me.
Yeah, what I'm really going to do in like Death Stranding 1 is, because I just mainstreamed the fucking story, I'm going to do more exploration, because I know, Andy, you said when we did the review for it, you were doing more exploration and stuff and messing around a lot. Yeah, messing around with the mechanics, and I think that's what I'm going to do. And also check out the new shit in the director's cut. So that's going to be on my docket. I watch some more WWE stuff. It looks like they're building up more Mania, which me and Zach discussed and are getting some color text chat where I was like, they're just fucking loading the people in there with triple threats. And I'm like, I don't know if I could dig that, but I guess we'll see.
As long as it's good, I don't care. I mean, it would be nice if people got more singles matches, but it's fine.
Yeah, true. But yeah, that's all I've done. Who's next?
I mean, Spaz is next.
Woo! I'm ready. Alrighty.
Cards.
We did cards. I played the Pokemon Cup, and I got 5th place. I did not defend my title. It was really a bummer. Yeah, Heart of the Cards were not mine. I literally, in 2 of the games, the ones I lost, both of them.
Some 10-year-old from Pallet Town came in and whipped his ass.
I wish. That was some old hairy nerd, but both times I like made like this mind-blowingly awesome play to like take like 4 prizes in one turn, and I set up a checkmate that's like, okay, if you don't win on your next turn, I win the game. You have to draw like this card, and then draw this card, and then draw this card. Like, it's not even they need one thing; they need to draw something to let them draw 2 or 3 things. And both times they did exactly that. Just there's an element of luck to it, so you can only do so much. But anyway, I had fun though. The game's still a lot of fun to play. And I'm just waiting for the rotation. So the next set comes out for Pokemon at the end of the month, and when that comes out, shortly afterwards, rotation happens. So all of the cards from the old, like the final leg of the Sword and Shield era cards all rotate out. So it'll only be the Scarlet Violet era cards, which is important because there's certain things we get rid of that'll be great, but also, and more importantly,
they'll all have silver borders. Finally,
they'll all have the silver border. The yellow border is officially dead. Can't wait! So excited. Yeah. So anyway, that'll be gone, and that'll be cool. Some of the new cards that are coming out look pretty cool too, because the next set that comes out they're bringing back the trainer cards. So like all the trainers, it's like the Pokemon that specifically are owned by a trainer, and it's their Pokemon, and it does extra special powers because the power partnership and all that bullshit. But anyway, Lorcana just had a new set drop, and things have gotten a little out of hand. So of course, I met up with some people, and we played some games and opened new packs, and I got pretty lucky in what I opened. I actually opened 2 pretty expensive enchanted cards and basically paid for my case just in the 2 cards alone, so that was kind of cool. And then I traded around with some people to get some cards, and I was like, oh yeah, this card's like $40 here, I'll just give you money for it, and it won't go up. And that card's now $70, and another card that I managed to open all 4 of, luckily, is now like $40, and the best deck in the game is like crazy broken, and it's the price to play the game now went from you only need $200 or $300 to the best deck in the game is almost $700. So fun times. Yeah, it's all happened over the course of a weekend, so we'll see if that continues. But it happens to be it's the deck that I thought was going to be good, and I wanted to play anyway, so I don't really care, and I like winning. So aside from cards, still been watching Ghost and Invincible. Invincible's about to finish the 3rd season. Actually, I think tomorrow is the season 3 finale, so I'm excited to see that because that show's been pretty good. Like they're at the point where shit's getting real and people are dying and actually dying and not like coming back to life, although maybe they'll come back to life again. It's comic books. I got on a weird kick, and it was while I was like sorting cards and other stuff. I got this recommended video because of all those random lore dive videos I was watching. So I watched Castlevania lore deep dive, and it was this video made by some British guy. I don't remember what his channel was, but I should go back and look. I think it was Majestic Gaming or something. But anyway, he made a video going in chronological order explaining all of the canonical lore from the video games in Castlevania, which is really interesting because so many of the games, as wild as it seems, they're canon, and there are a lot of games that you would think would be canon that aren't canon, or like just certain things about them have been removed. So it was just interesting to like hear that lore play out and how crazy it kind of is. So it was kind of neat. It was kind of like this one isn't as surprising, but all the Lords of Shadow stuff totally like non-canon. There's other stuff too. Like there's other entries that don't hold up. I thought it was weird. But there's also apparently a video of all the non-canon history. I'll tune in that next. I also got these weird videos. I got like a video of that. It was one of those clickbait things, and I've went down this whole like rabbit hole at the channel. There's these 2 guys. They call themselves Ketchup and Mustard, which is actually a shout to the game they cover in Mortal Kombat. Like those were the code names for Sector and Cyrax in Mortal Kombat. But they do videos about Mortal Kombat, like just lore videos. They do competitive fighting history, and like it was one of those videos like this is the most broken character in each of those games, and this is why. And I've just been watching a ton of those, and it's like eating popcorn. Like I can't like recommend it at all to anybody unless they're very into those things. But hey, it's my spectrum. I get to choose what I want to do with it.
That's a T-shirt right there.
it's my spectrum. I choose what I do with it.
Yeah.
It's Big Trouble merch right there. Come on.
There it is. You're welcome. I almost said I played Donkey Kong 94, but that looks like that's what Andy played. So spoilers.
Yeah, don't read my stuff.
Sorry, I saw the thing and I accidentally started reading it. I played a little Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Actually, play online. That was a lot of fun. Played online, and I totally whipped this guy's ass. And then I got to the next game, and it's like I didn't even pick up the controller. So I love how swingy that is.
Game's busted. That's what happens.
No, it absolutely is. Like the guy like reset me, and just I literally didn't move. He just touched me. I was like, shit. Okay, I guess I won't play. Yeah, so that was fun. But that game is a lot of fun though. It is a very broken game. So the last thing, and that's why I saved it for last. I finished Control. Now, there's technically more to do, but I have, and this is what I'm weirded out about. I got the Ultimate Edition, which came. My understanding is there was the base game, and then there was an expansion that came out that continued with the story after the original, and then there's also a second expansion that came out after that tied into Alan Wake, and like ties that into its universe. So not knowing that that's what I was doing, I got pretty far in the game and then was just exploring, and I was just doing a bunch of side quests, and I ended up doing the second expansion before I finished the main game. I did the Alan Wake stuff because it was kind of cool and eerie. And then I went back and did the main game, and now I'm finishing what I think is the first expansion stuff. Like I'm in the what's it called? The Foundation. Did you play the expansion part 2, or did you just play the main base game?
I played both.
Okay.
I did one expansion, the one that has to do more with what's going on in Control first, and then I did the Alan Wake one like way later in the game, like before I beat it.
Gotcha. Okay, so where I'm at now is, I went back to the really weird like dark room that the janitor originally was at when you had to go get the cassette player. Which, by the way, that area, that whole thing of wearing the cassette player and going through the maze, that kicked ass. That whole thing was awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like looking back, like if I could rewind time and not know that was gonna happen and then do that all over again, like just. Yeah, I would love to mind erase 15 minutes and go back and do that again. That was awesome. But anyway, I'm in the Foundation. Like I went back to that area, and then there's this big cave system that I'm going through, and I got a couple new powers, and I'm like halfway through the first leg of those those quests. I just wasn't sure if I was going to play it. I went ahead and marked it on Accelerated Gamer because even if I do play it for the sake of playing it, there's like no way I'm actually going to complete that game. Like there's so many collectibles, there's so many extra side missions. Like
yeah, it's a lot.
I'm exhausted. Like I've enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, the game's great, but I'm also not very good at it. Like I've admitted, like I die pretty easily. So yeah.
One thing I kind of hope they fix in the sequel is the shooting in it. The shooting mechanics weren't all that great to me, I thought.
Yeah,
like aim and stuff.
They're okay. Like, so what did you use mainly as far as your weapons? Like, did you have two like that you like basically kept all the time?
Yeah, mostly like the pistol, the shotgun deal.
Mm-hmm.
But I switched between a few of them. But I always just felt like the way the aiming worked in that game just felt like really not good. Like you could never quite aim right, especially if you were at any kind of distance. I always felt like you were off.
Yeah, distance was a little weird. Although I had a mod that made that, so I like using the weapon that you only get 2 shots, but like it just kills everything when it hits the pierce.
Oh, that one was good too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I used it, and I had a mod pretty early on that gave me like a decent zoom increase on it, so that helped a bit. But even then, like you're right, like you still have to fight at a certain distance, and then there's the whole thing of like levitating and fighting, like it's a whole.
You're better
thing.
off
like,
just throwing shit and trying to dodge things when you're floating around the air. Like
I mean,
yeah.
That's what I did. I literally just prioritized getting the thing where you can levitate multiple things, or not levitate, but you can throw multiple things at a time. And when I get that, it just became stupid. I was just like, oh yeah, I'll just throw everything around the room. But the game's really cool. The ending was, I dug it. Like the whole vibe of that game, I dig. Like it's so weird but good.
I know, yeah. That's what I liked about it a lot too.
Yeah, it's a neat game. I definitely, again, I was already on the side of recommending it, but now finishing it and even seeing how it ended, I definitely recommend it.
It made me want to go play Alan Wake after I was done with it too.
Same, actually. Yeah, same. I did love that the whole expansion. They like doubled down on, and it's very smart for a studio to do this. You know, so for you guys, like they made Alan Wake. They have this game that they decided to tie in the same universe, and kind of like basically this game is about how it kind of goes to how the world is like multidimensional, and there's like all this other paranormal stuff that happens, and you literally are in the building that is the organization that deals with these types of events, basically like the Men in Black. But Alan Wake happens to just be one of those events. Like that whole story just happens to be one of those altered events that happens.
Yeah.
So that's how they tie it to the universe. And then once you play through the side quest that has to do with the character tied to Alan Wake, you finish all that, and then at the very end, you kind of get a teaser for Alan Wake 2. Like they use it to tease that they're making a new game because it came out before that happened. But then also you had a whole expansion. It's really smart marketing.
Yeah.
At least I thought.
And I think Alan Wake 2 has something Control related in it now too. So
I could see that. It would make sense.
It also has Max Payne, but there's like a story where, remember when Rockstar bought Remedy's IP of Max Payne? So when they went to go do their own stuff, they couldn't use the name Max Payne. And Alan Wake 2, there's a detective that looks like Max Payne, but he has a different name because Rockstar owns the IP.
Sam Lake, that's his name.
I forget. It's something like very cheesy. That's why I love that Remedy.
Yeah, I was just saying that because the guy who did his face in the first game, that's Sam Lake, the director of Max Payne, who still works there at Remedy.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody says he looks like Johnny Knoxville, but if you see a picture of Sam Lake, that's his face. That's him.
Interesting. Yeah, I never played Alan Wake, so I'd be interested in going back to play. I think they have the remastered, and then there's a second. So I'm interested in it. But you mentioned something about a sequel. Are they making it a Control 2?
They are.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that game is really fun. I definitely recommend it for anyone listening. As far as other things go, I haven't started yet, but I am preparing to pick up the game that I definitely will be churning through the next several weeks. Although I hope it doesn't take that long. But you guys will be doing it too. Just give a little hint of what that is. So that's all I got.
All right, that makes it my turn. I'll go ahead and talk about Donkey Kong 94 since you spoiled it. Whatever. They put it on Nintendo Online, and I've played that game in the past, and I've always told people this game is extremely good. Everyone should play it because I see it at like conventions all the time, and it's like dirt cheap. It costs like nothing. And I always tell people you should pick this up before people get wise to it. But now it's on Nintendo Online, so who cares? It's not officially called Donkey Kong 94. It's just called Donkey Kong for Game Boy. But fans kind of call it 94 because that's the year it came out. But it's kind of clever the way it starts. It's just the Donkey Kong arcade game. You go through the original 4 Donkey Kong boards, and then it just opens up into this whole big long game where you're just chasing Donkey Kong through a big city and through the desert and through a jungle. And I'm on an airplane right now, and all the levels are airplane based, and it's a lot of fun. And it plays a lot like Super Mario Land, but you can pick stuff up like in Super Mario Brothers 2, and there's a few other like little quirks to it, but it's just a really, really fun little puzzle platformer. And I think everyone should at least try it. I've never beat it before. I haven't played it in years. I'm more than halfway through it now, but I'm getting to the point where I'm like, man, I don't know how to solve some of this. Like it gets pretty hard. And I looked it up. I was like, I gotta be almost done with this game. No, I'm like halfway. So
It's a pretty big game from what I understand.
It's
for
what?
Game Boy. So it's a pretty big Game Boy game from what I understand.
Yeah, no, when it came out, it was a pretty big deal too, because just how long and how it had like a save feature, and it has to have one because it's a long ass game. But it's the thing I've just kind of been plinking away at, and I wanted to finally mention it because I've been playing it a lot more. Because last week I beat finally Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Not only did I beat it, I completed it, man. I beat the pants off that game. I got the platinum trophy. I beat the game. I recruited every possible crewmate. I got every treasure. I got every bounty. I got every. I finished all the photo rallies. I 100%ed Dragon Kart. I 100%ed Sicko Snap. I 100%ed Crazy Eats. Everything. I did it all. That game is just too outrageously fun. Like normally, I would never platinum or 100% something because I'm like, that's tedious. I'll only ever do it if I'm having fun. And the only two games I've ever platinumed are Yakuza Pirate in Hawaii and Astrobot, and they're both just tons of fun and for completely different ways too. But yeah, I love that game deeply, and I can't wait to play another Yakuza game. But I got to take a break in between. I can't decide what's next. I actually got the Suikoden remasters in the mail today.
Nice.
But this will be a bigger thing, and if we're about to play something else, if we're about to play Chaz's pick, I might hold out and get some of the smaller stuff out of the way before I tackle something big. Haven't decided officially. Then the only stuff I watched is I watched Flow, that movie about a cat. It won Best Animated Picture or whatever. I hate to admit it, but I had somewhat low expectations of the movie because I was like, it's about a cat and cats suck, and I don't know. It's like, I just thought it was going to be a cat like in a forest doing like cute cat shit for an hour and a half. Wow, I was wrong. It's like a whole big epic adventure, and it's just animated beautifully, and it's only an hour and a half. It's on Max now. I recommend it as well. Another friend of ours was like, "Oh, this movie's so great, you guys should watch it." And I say all the time that of all of the people I know, he probably has the best taste in movies because he's never recommended me something that I've hated. And you think I'd just learn, but I never do. But yeah, Flow's really fun. And then I did something really stupid. I had just like a lazy Sunday, or was it Saturday? I think it was Sunday actually. And I wanted to start a show, and I've been thinking forever. Do you guys ever see? I see it on the YouTube Shorts, but I'm sure it's on like TikTok and the Facebook stuff too. People take scenes out of TV shows and movies and put like epic music behind it, and just like show a scene. They're basically just stealing content.
Yeah, it's
I
the most
fucking hate
frustrating
that
thing
shit.
ever. Yeah, it's awful.
I saw a couple of them for Better Call Saul, and I was like, that looks pretty good. I kind of want to watch that. So just on a whim, I started watching Better Call Saul and really got into it. And I think either the next day or the day after that, they fucking took it off of Netflix.
That's
So
rough.
I was like, wow, I like the show. I'm going to watch it. Oh, it's gone.
That sucks.
So I don't know. If it ever comes back, I'll try to start watching it again. But I was like halfway through season 1, and I was like really into it. This is a cool show. And I had a couple people tell me, "Oh, did you watch Breaking Bad?" I was like, "Nah."
And that was
it's a prequel. Why? Why does it matter? They're like, "Well, you're not going to understand." I was like, "I'm not going to understand what? It's a prequel." But yeah, but the characters are in it. So I'll be fine.
Yeah, there's crossovers that happen, and you're just like, oh, and then if you watch Breaking Bad, but you don't really need to see it.
I looked it up, and people kind of agree there's like two ways to do it. And the main way to do it is just watch stuff in the way it was released. But there's a different, like if you want to watch it like a freak, you can watch like Better Call Saul up to season 5, and then around like episode, I can't remember, it's like 4 or 5 or something, you stop, and then you start Breaking Bad, and then you watch that, and then you come back to Better Call Saul and finish it because it's like a post log to that. I was gonna do that. I thought that'd be fun, but now I'm not gonna do anything because it's gone.
Is it not on anything else you can watch?
No, I did a search, and everywhere it was like, hey, you can buy an episode for $3. And I was like, I don't want to do
That's
that.
shitty.
You can't even watch it on Prime with AMC Plus because it was originally an AMC show.
Yeah, it's originally an AMC show. Like, if I wanted to subscribe to AMC, I guess I could do it, but I have to probably drop something else. I thought, I should drop my Paramount Plus, but we're about to watch Star Trek, so I need that right now.
I kept Paramount Plus. Like, I picked it up literally at the beginning of the year to watch Twilight Zone, and then now we're gonna watch
It's
Star
where
Trek.
all the Star Trek is. So yeah, I'm going to hang on to it for now. I mean, I'm sure adding AMC Plus to my Amazon Prime is only a few bucks. And I might do it because I was really into that show. But there's a lot of other stuff I could be watching. And I never stick with the TV show anyway. I never finished The Sopranos. I should go watch that if I'm going to watch something.
You're just not a
I don't
TV
know. I'm bad
person.
with TV shows. I'm a bad TV
Yeah.
show watcher. I like movies better. But yeah, that's it. The big thing was I beat Yakuza Pirate in Hawaii. I did want to add that as fun as that game is, I have a lot of problems with the story. Like, I mean, that makes it sound like the story sucks. The story's just kind of stupid. It's like kind of it takes a serious, mean character and like kind of character assassinates him and makes him like a goofball. I was telling a friend, and you guys aren't going to know what I'm talking about because you haven't played any of those games, but some of the listeners might have. They write Majima in this game like he's Ichiban, which is kind of annoying. Like, he keeps saying things at the end of side stories and in serious situations that I can hear Ichiban saying, and he's just not Ichiban. He's Majima. Majima is supposed to be like the mad dog of Shimano. He's a wacko, bloodthirsty, crazy person, but he gets amnesia. Whoa, it's a little silly, but regardless, the story is cool. There's some really neat twists. The way that you discover who the final boss is going to be and then go fight him is really, really cool. And there's, after the credits, the post scenes are all really great. Like they put on their serious pants for some of the post stuff, and it's really cool. But yeah, it's a good game. I guess it's my game of the year so far. Who knows? Here it is, March. Who cares? But that's it. Anyway, if you want more of us doing all this nonsense, you can follow us on iTunes and Google Podcasts and Spotify, and of course we're on YouTube. If you want to see our beautiful faces, you'll get the quicker version on YouTube, but you'll get the more refined version on all the podcast stuff. So whatever suits your taste, you find us there. You like, comment, subscribe, follow, and I don't know. Tell us what to change. And we'll ignore you. Thank you. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you for Star Trek month.
All right, see you guys later. Peace.